Welcome to SEC Football Live here on the 440 Sports Network. That is Trey Wallace of Outkick.com. I am Braden Gall, and we are brought to you by M.L. Rose. This week's coaching search brought to you by the best ranch dipping sauce in the city. 7 great locations, soon to be 8. M.L. Rose, neighborhood pub, craft beer, and burgers all over the city. Trey Wallace, good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. I thought you were about to say brought to you by Yellowwood, the lumber company of Alabama.
Also true. Fact check. True.
You're home for buyouts and new head coaches.
I'm not kidding. I think this is the 4th week in a row we will be discussing a coaching search. Last week, LSU.
It is.
The week before, Florida. The week before that, Arkansas. Next week, Kentucky. Stay tuned.
You're actually forgetting one, even though it's outside the SEC. We talked about James Franklin.
Oh, that's
it's
right.
5 weeks in a row.
I was out of the country, Trey.
Yeah, you were in Spain. Whatever, dude. Like, I don't want to hear any complaining.
I was at an FC Barcelona match. It was great. No, lots of stuff to do today on the show. The college football playoff rankings are out. 9 SEC teams are ranked, 4 in the field, but 6 in the top 12. Did they get it right, Trey Wallace, with only 4 weeks of football plus a championship to go before the actual rankings come out that matter? Of course, the Auburn decision to fire 15-19 Hugh Freeze. They're really bad at football. Hugh Freeze is really good at golf, apparently. And so we'll get to what happened on the Plains and the coaching search. And frankly, where does this job rank relative to the other jobs that are available, which is turning into one of the most interesting coaching carousels in the history of our lifetimes. And, of course, we have huge games. I want to know, can A&M go undefeated? Can Bama run the table in the SEC? Can Texas still get back into this whole thing? Can Georgia continue to play with fire? What about Tennessee? What about Missouri? What about Vanderbilt? Lots of stuff to get to. We've got a huge couple of games this weekend as well with Missouri and A&M. So lots of stuff to get to. Make sure you check out all of Trey's work at Trey Wallace _ on the Twitter machine there. You can get to his writing at Outkick.com and Outkick, the Trey Wallace podcast, of course, over there at the Outkick platform as well. So make sure you check out all of that. Please, if you are watching on YouTube, thumbs up. Give us a like, give us a share, give us a subscribe. We would really appreciate it. That is how people find all of the great content that is afforded to you from the 440 Sports Network. All right, Trey, let's get started.
We'll find you if you don't subscribe.
There you go. ML Rose, everybody. Great place to watch college football games on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Great place to watch NFL games on Sunday. You got 2-for-1 drink specials. They got a revamped beer menu. They got great burgers, but of course, the SEC Wing War is still going on Saturdays. They're selling thousands and thousands and thousands of wings because they're awesome. That's it.
And wings are really good. And you should also, by the way, like just heads up for everybody going to Nashville this weekend, make sure to stop by M.L. Rose. A lot of Auburn. Maybe Auburn gets on the board this weekend. Be a bunch of,
you think?
Dude, there'll be 15,000 Auburn fans inside that stadium on Saturday.
You think they're more fired up now?
No, I don't think it's about that. I think they've already had tickets for a year because they were already coming to Nashville. And they're going to, I would know, like, literally my brother needed 5 tickets, so, like, that's just one family. So, like, what I'm getting at is, like, the Auburn fan base is, like, very prevalent in Nashville. So, yeah, I would expect them and the governor to be there.
But not the governor of Louisiana, which we'll also get to. What's interesting is, as a Nashvilleian for now going on almost 30 years, it's fascinating that the inner circle of SEC alumni fan bases, which I think is actually like a really good group of fans. Like I'm not being like a smart ass here. Like Ole Miss is an inner so it's which alumni bases end up in Nashville the most, which is not Texas A&M, it's not Oklahoma, it's not Florida, it's not South Carolina, although there are plenty of all of those. But it's like, obviously, it's Tennessee and Alabama and Vanderbilt, those 3. But Auburn, Kentucky, Ole Miss all make it a lot. There's a ton of Missouri folks in town as well. And so I think Auburn and Ole Miss are 2 very charming SEC schools. We don't have as many LSU fans, but I like Georgia. There's a lot of Georgia fans. It's not, it's a little farther away, but it's kind of still within that like 5-hour thing. So I like the inner circle alumni bases that end up coming here, and I don't need A&M in Florida to come here.
No, you don't have yell practice on Friday night. Just hanging out at the bar.
No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good to see the Auburn folks in town. But I don't know. Vandy's doing a good job selling tickets these days.
Yeah, but this is not a shot at Vanderbilt. This is just reality. Like I'm not going on some rant here. It's if Missouri fans had not traveled when I was at that game 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, there might have been 14,000 empty seats.
Oh no.
No. I meant that because the visiting fans traveled so dang well, and they gave them so many tickets. Like I'm not taking a shot. Hell, I got Vanderbilt making the playoff. Don't jump on that right now. I'm trying to turn people against me.
You're being cheeky. Ohio State #1, Indiana #2. No real argument there. A&M 3, Bama 4. I think you could argue Bama has the best resume of anybody on this list, but they also might have the worst loss of anybody on this list. So therein lies the rub. Georgia at 5, Ole Miss at 6. Of course, they have all three of those have head-to-head with Bama, Georgia, and Ole Miss. BYU 7, Texas Tech 8, Oregon 9, Notre Dame 10. That is where technically the line of making the playoff ends, because the ACC and Group of 5 champion are behind that, which means Texas at 11, Oklahoma at 12, SEC schools are out. Vanderbilt 16, Missouri 22, Tennessee 25. And then you get into all the schools that have a fired coach or will be firing their coach after that.
Dude, there were 3 Big 12 teams ahead of the first ACC team in the rankings. Like that one, like that was kind of like that wake-up call type of thing. I mean, obviously we've seen how the season gone, but what I'm saying is that was pretty shocking to me. It shows you how bad and I don't want to say bad. I'm not trying to take a shot or anything.
Mario Cristobal's not a good football coach, Trey.
He's a good CEO, not a good football.
He's a good recruiter.
Yeah, the CEO. Hello. Yeah, I know.
Does game management, like deciding to punt or not, count as a CEO decision? Or go for a field goal or a touchdown instead?
Yeah, it just depends on if you delegate some of the jobs. Whatever. We're not.
Maybe he should delegate more.
They're in trouble. And then all they wanted to do was bitch and complain about them being 18th. Like, dude, you just lost to SMU and Louisville. Like, come on, man, stop.
To be fair, Louisville's not a bad football team.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
Penn State.
At the time when they lost, everybody was like, "What? You just lost Louisville on a Friday night?" Like, I'm not saying Louisville's bad. Louisville's probably making the playoffs.
Future Penn State head football coach Jeff Brom is very good.
They had to go down their list now.
Although I've been told they're not really all that interested in him, and I'm like, what? You guys are drunk up there in Happy Valley. What are you doing?
And they're out here interviewing Brian Hartline.
Okay, we'll get to Auburn and the coaching carousel in just a minute. All right. Do you like the rankings there at the top 3, 4, 5, 6? Kind of hard to argue that. Do you think Texas and Oklahoma should be higher, lower? Do you think Vanderbilt gets screwed? Like, what do you make of the SEC's performance, quote unquote, in the college football playoff?
Yeah, I mean,
what did you learn?
I mean, just I could have made an argument for Texas A&M being #1. I really could, but the same way I could have made an argument for probably Indiana being #1. So, like, that spot is it's just a holding spot for Ohio State. Like, that'll play out with 1 and 2 because we're on a track to see them play in Indy, and then A&M could do their thing. I think Texas A&M is fine. They got themselves an interesting slate the rest of the year. But Alabama at 4 makes sense to me. And good Lord, man, if you'd have told me after week 1 that Alabama would be sitting 4th in the college football playoff rankings, the first one, I'd have asked for a drug test.
With maybe the best set of wins of any team in America.
Right? I mean, you can really make that argument. Like, and I loved how the CFP chair, Mac Rhodes, came on last night when he was talking about Texas A&M.
Did he get the quarterback's name wrong?
No, I don't think. I want to get the exact.
I think he called him Mark. I think he called him Marcus Reed. I think.
Oh, God bless him. Okay. He said this on A&M. We saw a really, really good football team. Talking about that, went into Death Valley and dominated a good LSU football team. Dominant quarterback with Marcel Reed. Impressive win going on the road to South Bend. Small margins between Ohio State, Indiana, and A&M. Okay, well, you just helped out a couple squads by saying LSU's a good football team. So let's just go ahead and get that straight. Congratulations. So
I mean, they're a solid football team. They're not bad. They're not bad. They're not
right,
bad.
but the fact that they got mentioned, you know what I mean? Like, that's how
I hear you. I mean, putting up 30 plus or whatever it was in the second half on the road against a rival who's got a bunch of NFL talent, that's solid. You know?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is that helps Vanderbilt, by the way.
Yes, it does.
I think Georgia and Ole Miss, obviously that's going to play out here over the next couple of weeks. I mean, I think that Texas going to Athens. I mean, look, Georgia, get past Mississippi State. that's a team coming off a big win against Arkansas.
That is that's a sneaky tough game in Georgia, and Georgia plays with their food every single weekend. Here, let me go back to A&M though. I want to know what the case is for A&M to be number 1. I have no problem with them being number 3, but I don't think objectively, and I really like A&M. I love Mike Elko. I like this team. I think I find it hard to make the case for them because, and I'm not going to use game control as a term, but like they have not been nearly as dominant as Indiana. They don't have the wins that Alabama has. And they just don't have, like, Ohio State just looks like the best team, and that's more of an eye test thing. So, like, I can't look at A&M and say eye test number 1. I can't look at the A&M resume and say number 1, and I can't look at the A&M statistical metrics and say A&M number 1. I mean, you gave up 40 points twice in 2 wins. Obviously, you're giving up lots of points to UTSA, to Utah State. I mean, LSU scored 25. That's like an offensive explosion for LSU. So I'm not saying they're not worthy of being 3, and I love this team. It's not hater here on A&M. I just don't see how you make the case for them to be number 1.
I think the fact that you went on the road, I could have a lot of different things. I think the fact that you went on the road and you beat Notre Dame,
very impressive.
That's
their only ranked win right now.
Okay, right now. See, that's the thing. The right now thing, I hate. I hate the right now thing.
That's all you can go on. That's all you can
I know, but if team was freaking ranked 10th when you played them, and then all of a sudden they plummeted, it's not your fault.
But that's not an accurate.
I know that because I get that the CFP was not the one ranking them, and it's off an AP poll. I understand that part, but
and I think, and just to be clear here, I'm not suggesting that top 25 is the most important metric here. I don't think that. What I mean is that because most college football teams cannot beat Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida, Arkansas, and LSU. Most college football teams cannot go through that schedule and go 5-0. In fact, most will not. But so I'm not suggesting that it's somehow like quote unquote weak or soft or whatever. But they don't have a collection of marquee wins. They have good wins.
But here it comes. I mean, it comes. You're going on the road to Missouri. Okay, Missouri. I get the quarterback situation. People don't come at me, but Missouri is ranked 22nd in the rankings.
Sure.
And then that last game of the year, brother, like you go on the road and you beat Texas at Texas. Hello, like there's your case. And then by the way, probably going to be playing in the SEC championship game. So I'm not. What I am saying is like in general, I could have said A&M. I could have if they put A&M at 1, I'd have been like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they like deserve, but you know what I'm getting at here. Ohio State, what have you really done outside of Texas? Not trying to be a hater here.
I mean, to me, it's
no, we're talking about games.
Like
They have the best defense in the country, and Ohio State could score 60 points on you if Ryan Day said, hey, you know what? Let's score points.
And this is where Indiana weak schedule in the non-conference, but the metrics around total statistical domination, margin of victory, complete control, like they haven't even really been. A double-digit road win at Oregon is almost better than anything anybody else has in the country.
And I love that.
So my point is I think A&M is properly slotted at 3. I think the team that can argue that they need to be higher is Bama. I think Bama is the one that has the resume and the wins and the statistics and the talent. And yes, they have the giant blemish, and so that's why they're at 4. And I got no problem with it. The other thing with A&M is like as this is the next topic I want to ask you about, because I don't really have a problem with the rankings. It's going to work itself out.
No, but I think the only if we're moving on from that part, I think Texas and Oklahoma being where they are at 11-12 fits for me. Like
I think they're better than BYU and Texas Tech as football teams.
Yeah, but that's about to play out, and the CFPD committee knew that was about to play out in front of them this weekend.
But is it though? Because this is what I'm getting at. Because I want to ask.
I know they're going to be too Big 12 team to make the playoff. By the way,
I hear you, and we said that at the beginning. I want to go to like projecting out here because A&M fans, you could argue about 1 or 2 or 3 or 5, and you could get yourself worked up today over what I just said about your team if you want to, or you can look at
your team,
or you can look at your schedule and go, we could lose to Missouri, lose to Texas, and still probably get in. And so, like you have margin here if you're A&M. You can lose one of these games for sure and still get in and still maybe play for an SEC championship. And again, I want to repeat this very clearly. If you make it to your conference championship game and lose to a good team, that should not negatively affect your resume. Just want to point that out.
If you make it to Atlanta, you should be in the playoff, period.
I would argue that almost for any other
this year
for any other conference too.
Any other conference as well.
as long as you are above the threshold of like top 10 or you have an 11-1 or 10-2 record, like I'm not suggesting that some 8-4 team that gets into some ACC championship game should go.
Right. No, but I know where you're getting at here, because in the Big 12, and this is something I had to look up last night just to make sure, and I'm not trying to make this is not about the Big 12, but I'm just giving you a reference here. BYU and Texas Tech play this weekend. Well, guess what? Cincinnati's still sitting there with one loss.
Yeah.
Texas Tech does not play Cincinnati. BYU does. But what I'm saying, that could get a little crazy. So it flips back to what's going on in the SEC.
Eddie, are you suggesting Notre Dame at 10 is absurdly low? Because I mean, look, they've won 6 straight. Their 2 losses were to very good teams early in the season, very close. Not very good teams, but pretty good teams. Obviously, A&M turns out to be very good. We just joked about Miami.
Good.
Oh, losing on the road in the last possession to Miami, there's no shame in that. And so I could argue Notre Dame and Oregon both are too high, but now I'm getting into sort of like Big Ten SEC bias.
Yeah,
and I don't want to do that.
No.
I just think on paper, if you told me Texas versus Texas Tech or Texas versus BYU, even with a bad Arch Manning and a questionable offense, Vegas is taking Texas. I'm taking Texas. You're taking Texas. We're all taking Texas. I think Oklahoma too, especially with a healthy Mateer. What's interesting to me is like where we go from here. Like I mentioned, I think A&M has tons of margin of victory. Or margin of error here. I think Bama obviously has margin for error. Georgia's the interesting one to me because they already have a head-to-head loss to Bama. Yes, they have the win over Ole Miss, but they have like they have a Georgia Tech game that could knock them out. They have a Texas game that could knock them out. They've got a Mississippi State team that can knock them out. And the thing about Georgia is they have not had a season of domination. Georgia's the one that I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Like, is this a 10-2 Georgia team that loses once more? Are they 11-1 good enough to sort of build and be really, really good? Or is this the thing that Kirby Smart has been saying all along, which is this team is tighter in the locker room and they just know how to get the job done in the fourth quarter, which so far they have done every time except for once.
Yeah, no, and I think that what we saw during the Florida game, Florida's a good football team, by the way. I just want to make that clear. They just had some bad bumps this year, especially the officiating. That was a catch, by the way. So I think that Mississippi State is like looking at their schedule, it's the ultimate trap game. This weekend. It's an 11 o'clock local kick.
Mm-hmm.
I know Jeff Levy's having to buy tickets to give out to the youth organizations to get people to show up in Starkville. But still,
why? They're a competitive football team.
No, he literally is. Like, I'm being straight. Like he said, a bunch of football players had to buy tickets to give out to youth organization. He bought 500 tickets himself to give out. Like,
I appreciate him doing that, but I'm upset with the Mississippi State fans. Like, this is a team that they're in every game that they play.
I think a lot of that, looking at I'm just looking at the seating chart. I'm one of those guys. I think a lot of that's because Georgia didn't take their full allotment of tickets, but we'll just move on. Yeah. So I think just watch out for Mississippi State, because that could be a game that they hang around long enough, something can happen. No offense to Charlotte. God bless you. Nothing's happening in that game. The Texas game where I'll be at is intriguing because it feels like no, but here's the reason why. It feels like the Alabama at Georgia game.
Yeah, it does.
Where they could come in there, Texas could ruin Georgia's playoff chances with that win.
Or vice versa. I mean,
right. I know that, but I'm saying like it feels like that defensive like juggernaut name, and then Arch Manning's going to come out and throw for 400 yards against a team that everybody thought he was going to go to before against Texas. Not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying.
It's a playoff elimination game.
It's a playoff elimination game because I think Georgia Tech.
I don't see a lineup for that game yet.
No, it's too far. I think Georgia Tech is could be the nail in the coffin, and that's the problem for Georgia right now. Is they can, even though you could make an argument and be like, oh man, they picked up their second loss to Texas. Okay, well you dropped 2 of those games at home this year, so. You got to go on the road. Is that game, by the way? I was trying to look at that Georgia Tech game. That's not at Mercedes-Benz, right? That's it.
No, I think it's
Bobby Dodd. Okay,
no, I think I think it's at home at Athens. I thought.
No, it's not. It's at Georgia. Georgia Tech's the bottom team.
No, because they.
Dude, I'm sitting there looking at it. Georgia Tech's the bottom team.
Okay. It's at Mercedes-Benz. You're right. It's
Oh,
at Mercedes-Benz.
why would I knew? Yeah,
Yeah, that
I thought it
sucks.
was this
Yeah,
year.
that sucks.
Sucks. I know
Yeah,
you're
that
doing it
sucks.
for money and everything, but
Oh, that
what are
sucks
you
so
doing,
hard.
Georgia Tech? You just took home field advantage away for
second oldest
damn.
stadium in the country behind Mississippi State. Like it's a great. I love that Georgia Tech stadium.
I
by the way,
hate that they did that. That
know,
pisses
I
me
agree.
off. I'm going to write a letter to Ryan Alpin, the new AD down there.
Josh writes. Josh writes as hunting season started. I'm assuming you're talking squirrel hunting season, and
Lane Kiffin. Yeah, that would be at Ole Miss. No, I think Georgia is set up for another loss here, and I'm curious to see what the playoff committee does if they do catch that. How about?
I think Georgia gets in it. The question I have is more about the third loss, because Texas has 2, and they have no margin, and they've got Georgia, Arkansas, and A&M could easily lose one of those games, and if they lose one of those games, that's 3. But their schedule is probably pretty difficult. Same with Oklahoma, very difficult schedule, and they've got Alabama, Missouri, and LSU could easily drop 2 of those games, or one of those games to get to 3 losses. We mentioned, Bama could lose to Auburn and get to 2 losses. Like, it's not crazy that we have the problem is I don't see a path, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I got to wait to see what the teams look like at the end of the season before I make a judgment. But right now, I don't see a path for a 9-3 team from the SEC, even if they are deserving to get into the playoff.
No, we're gonna be in the same situation, the same conversation we were having last year about Ole Miss, South Carolina, the Bama. No, you're not getting in. Like, if we're gonna sit, like, I can just picture it now. We're sitting here talking about a 9-3 Georgia team. I'm not saying that's where they're going to be. I'm just saying we're hypothesizing here.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
you want to put it up against Texas Tech or BYU?
But Georgia, but that's so. Here's the thing: it's not who has the best record. It's not who has the best resume. It's who is the best team. And if Georgia's losses are to number 2 Alabama, and they have a loss to a Texas team that, if Texas wins that game, will make the playoff and probably be 10-2. Georgia Tech, if they win that game, will probably make the playoff on the backs of the win over Georgia. So you're talking about 3 losses to probably playoff teams, with wins over another playoff team in Ole Miss and win over on the road against a ranked Tennessee. I just think, I think that's a good case, but I don't think I think they're better than BYU, better than Texas Tech. I think they would be better than. Obviously better than the at-large or the automatic bids here. I'm just saying. I think
if Georgia Tech were to beat Georgia, I think Georgia Tech would automatically be in, even if they caught an L in the ACC title game.
Well, and that's my point. If they're 11-1 with a win over Georgia, you should not be hurt by losing an ACC because you had to play an extra game.
Right.
You were so good.
Entire starting lineup.
You were so good at football this year that you had to play it. You got to play an extra game, and that's the reason we're kicking you out of the playoff. That's the dumbest logic I've ever heard in my life.
You'd have Lane Kiffin out here, advocating for you. So
which is why I was fine with SMU making it last year. If you thought SMU was better than Bama or South Carolina or Ole Miss last year before the championship game, then you have to stick with it after this, especially a close loss to Clemson or whatever. Right? Like,
I know we're probably going to get to this, but really, people were up in my comments last night about Vanderbilt. I'm just curious on your thoughts when it comes to them in the playoff, because
I think if they win out, they deserve to get in. But you got to beat Tennessee on the road.
That doesn't look like much of a problem when it comes to Tennessee's defense right now. Not trying to be the guy. I
said in August, I thought Vanderbilt was a better football team than Tennessee. And everyone in my Tennessee alumni group chat told me I was insane.
Yeah, they want to check.
Ole Miss, by the way, is in. Let's just call it a day. Like Citadel, Florida, in the Egg Bowl. Now, they could lose on the road in the Egg Bowl. I'm not sure the committee. I hope that the committee understands moments like that. Like that if you lose a close game in the Egg Bowl on the road to a very improved Mississippi State team, that it's like, okay, that's a different level of sort of like animosity and care. Like, that's just a different type of loss.
Right.
I think Ole Miss is in.
It's also good that Scott Strickland's going to be able to go in-house for an interview with Lane, in Oxford when they come to town. So that's nice. You don't have to travel down there for your conversation.
Hey,
but I think.
Hey, I'm on the square. Why don't you come over and have a coffee with me?
Where are you at? You up to 1 o'clock?
There's a special door at Square Books where you pull the book down. You pull a Grisham book down, and the door opens, and that's where.
Why is Scott Strickland at a yoga class at 6 a.m. on Saturday morning. What is going on here?
Why did he fly? Why did he fly up early for a high school football game in Oxford on Friday night?
That's exactly right. No, I think Ole Miss is in. I think they're good.
I think they're in.
I think coming off the win, I think what they do in being able to be. I'm not saying South Carolina was some big old thing, but no offense, but beating them and then now I think moving ahead, they're good. Yeah.
So Texas 11, Oklahoma 12, Vandy 16, Tennessee 25. I think they're already out. Missouri 22. Technically could still make it. They're only a 2-loss team, but they have 4 games.
You mean Tennessee's out?
Missouri.
So they have to fire Josh Heupel now, right?
Missouri.
Dumbass takes.
Missouri plays Texas A&M, Mississippi State at Oklahoma and at Arkansas. So in theory, if they were to run the table and stack like 4 good wins back to back, finish 10-2, I think they could still get in. Here's my question. Is the reason you like Vanderbilt is because you're looking at the schedules and you look at these 5 teams that are sort of who's the 5th team in, and Vanderbilt's the one that has the path to already do it? Like I could see a 6th team getting in too. I could see Texas and Vanderbilt both getting in. I don't know if I can't pick Oklahoma, but I think their schedule's too hard.
I just think so. Vanderbilt has a win over LSU. Vanderbilt has the win over 22 Missouri. Vanderbilt really needs Missouri to win this weekend, by the way, because then you would have that head-to-head type of thing. And then Vanderbilt also needs Tennessee to
win
against Florida and
New Mexico State, which they should.
Right, and then play. Well, they should.
At Florida. Sorry.
Tennessee, I won in Gainesville in 25 years.
Sorry.
No, I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I just do. And this is not some kind of like, this is not like a Vanderbilt love fest or anything. I'm just looking at it, guys. Like I'm looking at reality. Like you lost at Alabama. And if you really looked at that game, the score could have been a lot different. Not saying they would have won. We've had this conversation. But then at the same time, you go on the road to Texas and, you're getting beat up, but you fight your way back into the game and save me. Look, I want to make this real brief, but save me with the whole, Texas went conservative and that's why Vanderbilt came back. Okay, that's fine. Texas might have gone conservative for like 5 minutes and then they saw Vanderbilt start scoring a little bit and you had to readjust your game plan. So,
there was nothing about those 2 games that indicated that Vanderbilt didn't belong in the games.
Right.
They were competitive. Right. They were almost equal footing with both teams. They lost the games. Now they have to beat Tennessee on the road, and they need Tennessee to probably be as good as possible resume-wise to call that win even better. But a rivalry win on the road over an 8 win at that time Tennessee team, or a 9 win Tennessee team at the time, will be a very good resume win. And I'm with you. I think it could get them in. I think they need some help. But here's the beauty of this, and this is why I try not. I know we've spent a lot of time on it already. I'm just having fun looking at like where the teams could go. But what I think is super important here, and it's I'm paraphrasing a really cheesy like mid-2000s country song.
Have at it.
That we still got a lot of losing to go here. We still got a lot of losing left to do, because they're these teams in the Big 12, these teams in the ACC. These teams ahead of Texas and Oklahoma, like you mentioned, BYU and Texas Tech, there's a loss already on the board right now this weekend. So they are going to be teams that lose ahead of you. And if you stay the course, I think you work your way into the top 10. And so I think Oregon and Notre Dame are the 2 that I'd be worried about if I'm Texas and Oklahoma. I think there's a chance one of those top 4 SEC teams loses again. I think it's very real that Texas and Oklahoma could lose again. And Utah's not guaranteed to stay the course as well. I just think there's always more losses than you think on the schedule with almost all of these teams ahead of Vanderbilt, if that makes sense.
I don't, and I'm just going over right now there. I don't disagree with you. I just look at the SEC as a whole this year, and I'll just make this short and sweet. They can help themselves out a lot with how the schedule has been put together and the team still and the matchup still remaining on for the rest of the season. Does that make sense? Like, so the fact that you're going to have Vanderbilt going on the road to Knoxville, like that helps. And then the fact
it creates opportunity.
It creates opportunity. Okay. And you've got and even the best thing, and again, I'll go back and say it. The best thing again for Vanderbilt would be for Missouri to somehow beat a walking, the sleepwalking Texas A&M team this weekend. Like I'm just so
every one of the
it presents opportunities for them, and it presents opportunities for them. And the SEC over these next 4 weeks, man, are going to be absolutely nuts because there are situations here that could lead to 4 SEC teams getting in the playoff or
6.
5 SEC teams. I don't think they can get 6.
I'm with you. But to your point, Texas, Oklahoma, Vanderbilt, Missouri, those are the 4 that probably still have a shot to play their way in. And all of them have very difficult schedules to play their way in. Although Vanderbilt's not super difficult, I guess. But Missouri has 2 teams ahead of them in the rankings left on the schedule. Texas has 2 teams ahead of them left in the schedule. Oklahoma has 2 teams in the rankings ahead of them on the schedule. One of them ahead of them on the schedule. I hear what you're saying is that it's all set up for if you want to earn your way in, go do it.
Yes. And that Auburn game for Vanderbilt, it's not some gimme this weekend. You got a rejuvenated football team under old DJ Durkin down there. So I'm just saying, like it's going to be fun. This is going to be very, very interesting little stretch we have here of 4 weeks. And
just hydrate. Just all the players hydrate. You know, if you're playing for DJ Durkin, just make sure you hydrate.
God dang it. Okay. Yeah, I know. By the way, he's not getting that head coaching job. So all you people down there that are sniffing glue, you can move on from that.
All right, that's a good transitionary piece. That's a good transitionary piece. M.L. Rose, of course, 7 great locations across Middle Tennessee. Number 8 coming to Murfreesboro soon. So we're gonna have 8 locations. Your neighborhood pub, great drink specials, the best burgers, ranch dipping sauce, chicken wings, and spicy cheese curds. Dog, I'm telling you,
spicy cheese
curds. They are. Like we order, like me and 2 other dads go on Thursday nights to go watch ball and like have some beers. It
sounds like a problem.
2 for 1 happy hours, and we get an order of cheese curds, and without fail, we have to get a second order of cheese curds because they're that good. That's how good they are.
Dang, dude.
Special.
All right. Well,
Spicy.
I didn't know about the spicy cheese curds when I went to M.L. Roads 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Spicy cheese curds, dog. Spicy.
Dang it! All right. Speaking of Murfreesboro, they need to hire a new coach. But
pretty awesome.
This is not that.
By the way, let me promote something real fast. I have been working for a year on a documentary about craft beer in Nashville, the history of craft beer in Nashville, going all the way back to Prohibition. 7-part documentary coming out in like next week, I think. Is fingers crossed. M.L. Rose a big part of that though, so it's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited about it, and all the great beer specials that they have at M.L. Rose, they're a big part of the story. So it's gonna be a lot of fun.
That's legit, bro.
Yeah, dude. Hey, over a year, I've been working on this. We got like 30 hours of interviews. We got interviews with lobbyists and brewmasters and like all kinds of cool stuff. So it's gonna be fun,
dude.
And
ML you're an alcoholic, but I didn't know that much. That's great.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
I'm slimming down these days.
No, you actually look good. That's why I was saying it. That is neat. When's it dropping?
Just next week.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
I'm all about that type of stuff.
First 3 episodes coming out next week, and then super digestible too. It'll be pretty short, like little 15-20 minute episodes. So hopefully really informative history lesson in the city of Nashville, but through the lens of sort of craft brewery and sort of a little bit of my life too. So.
Coming from a guy that just drank Newcastle in college, and my younger, just because it was the hip thing to do, it's great to see the craft
dude
beer.
In Knoxville. Yeah. In Knoxville, when I started drinking Newcastle and Red Stripe, I thought I had learned some secret that no one else in college had figured out.
I thought I was balling, bro. Yes. How many Newcastles you want? You want 12? You got it.
I thought I was like, guys, does anyone else know that beer is good?
Dude, look at this brand. It's called Newcastle. Look at the label. It's so neat.
St. Pauli Girl. Sweetwater 420 was a big one in college.
Look at those degenerates drinking PBR. We have Newcastle.
Sierra Nevada Pale Ale was a big one in college.
Sierra Nevada.
All of those, though, the reason all of those are from like Georgia and the West Coast in England is because we had no good local craft beers in Nashville. And now we have like 35 breweries. So anyway.
I'm telling you.
All right.
It's pretty wild.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
That's on you.
Betting favorite right now to be the head coach at Auburn is one of 3 people, depending on where you look. And one of them is the one I'm going to see if you can guess, because I think you know the 3 betting favorites. One of them is the one I want the most to be the head coach at Auburn. And I said as much on this show, I think, before Hugh Freeze was ever fired.
Here we go.
That's number 1. Number 2, one of them is the most Auburn, like, clout chasing, kind of like short-sighted, history repeats itself kind of hire. And the other one is the right hire. for the job. Who am I talking about?
No. Go ahead.
No, I want you to guess which one is which.
Well,
Do you know the three betting favorites?
No.
Okay, so the one I want, the three betting favorites are Kenny Dillingham, John Sumrall, and James Franklin. Those are the three betting favorites to be the next head coach at Auburn. I'm not suggesting that's what's going to happen, but that's the betting favorites. James Franklin is the coach I want to get the job for personal entertainment reasons.
Absolutely.
And I think he would do. I think he's what they thought Hugh Freeze was, which is, he's guaranteed to be pretty good. We're going to get to 9 or 10 wins. And I think James Franklin would get to 8 to 10 wins most seasons. I don't think he's going to win the big game. I don't think he's going to win championships. I don't think he's good enough, but he's really good. He's Mark Richt, Big Ten style. So a really good football coach. But most importantly, it would be so much fun. It would be very Bruce Pearl. I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Why do you, hey, Virginia Tech fans, why do you think he hadn't signed a contract yet?
Exactly right. Kenny Dillingham is a really good offensive mind, but the fact that you want Kenny Dillingham is based on all the things that are so odd about Auburn. Oh, he was here for one season 6 years ago, and he went to a playoff last year with like some NFL players. Like, again, NFL.
He really loved those 7 months in Auburn.
Like, those are all the weirdest reasons to be obsessed with a guy. I think there's nothing to say that he wouldn't be a good coach. I just think it's very like flash in the pan Auburn thing to do.
And by the way, I'm just saying, like, if the coach comes through your town for 7 months, that doesn't mean he deserves to be the head coach of your school or he has some affinity for your school.
I agree. And then John Sumrall, who has ties to like almost every SEC school somehow, some way, like coached in Louisiana as a head coach, coached in Alabama as a head coach, is from Alabama, coached at Ole Miss, and went to Kentucky. He's tied to all of the jobs, basically, potentially, if Lane Kiffin decides to leave. And I think John Sumrall is the most like, he might be the one time where the boring, smart thing to do actually becomes like the thing the fans want too. You know what I'm saying? Like, rarely does that happen. I think
he should be the head coach.
I agree. I think he's the guy I want to go get. But, like, rarely does, like, the thing that is smart and boring equal the thing that is most exciting for fans. Rarely does that happen. And I feel like John Sumrall is one of the few guys that actually makes that happen for any of these jobs. Auburn, Oklahoma, Auburn, Arkansas, Ole Miss, whatever.
Florida. By the way, also, like, John Sumrall would be I don't want to – all right, whatever. He would be like Bruce Pearl. He has that energy to him, meaning I think he can get the fan base rallied around. Like he's the type of guy to me that gets out in the community. I'm just watching what he's done at Troy and watching what he has done at Tulane. Like, he can go rally a base. And I think that folks out there will look at it as, we're going the Billy Napier route. We're going the G5 route. No. I think John Sumrall is
this guy's brain is on another planet.
Dude.
Like, his analytics.
I was speaking with some Tulane folks, man, about him,
planet.
and I've known him for a while from his Troy days. You know.
Yeah, I interviewed him. I stopped. I made my family stop on the way to the beach during 2020. I think it was 21.
You went through
maybe. So don't tell anybody, but that's the sneakiest way to get to the beach is to go through Troy because it's a 4-lane.
Every time to go to spring meetings.
It's a 4-lane road, and it gets you right to don't tell anybody, Cape San Blas. Also, the first rule of the Cape is we don't tell anybody about the Cape. However, so I made him stop during spring practice like 5 years ago to like stop and watch a few minutes and chat with John Sumrall. All my kids are in the car going like, Dad, I want to go to the beach.
What the hell is wrong with you? Like, just be quiet, kids. I need 2 hours.
Hey, we drove to West Virginia to the New River Gorge for our summer vacation this year.
Tell me you went by and saw Neil Brown.
I made them. No, that was too far north. But we stayed in Lexington one night for the first to break up the trip. We stayed in Lexington because we weren't leaving until really late on like a Thursday or whatever.
How do you only got an hour and a half up the road and you had to pull over to sleep?
No, it's like a 6-hour drive to New River Gorge.
No, I was talking about you stopped in Lexington.
That's about 3 hours. Anyway,
whatever. Okay.
We didn't leave until like 7 o'clock because of
okay.
From Nashville. So the point is, we get to Lexington at like 10 o'clock. We wake up the next morning. I make him go see the University Boulevard there next to the Kentucky football stadium. So there's pictures of my girls like trying to sneak into Commonwealth Stadium. Then we drive through Huntington, and to get to where we're going. And
Marshall.
We sneak into the Marshall Stadium, and I have a picture of my kids like inside the Marshall Stadium. I have pictures of my kids inside the Missouri practice facility from 2 summers ago, before anyone in the local media had a chance to see their brand new indoor practice facility.
You got to be kidding me.
I make them stop at every college town we pass to go look at the stadium. It's like a new thing that
I
I'm
love
doing.
you even more. Okay, that's fantastic. By
So
the way, like,
I'll see if I can post it. I'll see if I can post it.
Yeah, that's it. That's just
Anyway,
fantastic.
what is the right, like, obviously I think LSU and Florida and Penn State are quote unquote better jobs. I think Auburn is getting, we could talk LSU here as well, because I think the governor thing is so overblown.
Yeah.
I think it's so overblown. If you're Nick Saban and you're interested in coming back, then maybe the governor thing matters. And you're like, I don't want to deal with that shit. And so maybe that's the same with Auburn. Like if you're Nick Saban or you're Urban Meyer, which by the way, Urban Meyer, oh my God, would be amazing. Nick Saban would be amazing. Those guys are so high up that like they're only going to come back and come out of retirement if it's like the exact perfect right thing for them. They can be super picky if they want to be. I don't think all the noise around Auburn or the noise around LSU or even the noise around Florida, I don't think it matters to a guy who's going to go in there and do a great job. I don't think it matters.
I'm curious too, because are we going to put, if Ole Miss potentially opens, Ole Miss and Auburn both looking for coaches, you know what I mean? So I'm just prefacing that for down the road. If that happens, I'm not saying that Lane's leaving Ole Miss, but I think that where you have Auburn on the pecking order, I think feels about right. I think Auburn is, I don't mean this in any disrespect, but Auburn's not the team from 15 years ago. Auburn's not the team 10 years ago. And I mean that as a whole. I think that they can go out there, and if they go out and land a John Summerall or even a Kenny, you know, if Kenny wanted to take a chance, Dillingham, or Franklin, like I think that would be very, very intriguing to me to watch them continue to grow, because they have money. They got money to spend. And I think that, I don't think the politics, like future Governor Tommy Tuberville, you know, the state of Alabama, you know, his ass ain't going to be out there saying some of the dumb things that Landry, I don't know. Maybe I should take that back. But, you know,
I was going to say,
I mean, and if you had Lieutenant Governor AJ McCarron,
it is
a demotion. Senator Paul Feinbaum, like you're just walking into
it is a demotion to go from the Senate to the governor's mansion. I don't know why people don't realize that, but whatever. Continue.
Have you seen the governor's mansion in Alabama? Like, it's not okay. Whatever.
No, I'm just saying, like, governors are not
next
to the seat of power in the world the way the Senate is. But anyway, continue.
No, correct. I just think that the LSU thing is, there's a reason why Osprey got the job so quick at LSU. He's the new athletic director. If folks missed it, they hired a new president 2 days ago. The new president immediately announced, pretty much it was a done deal, that the interim AD was getting the job. So there's no AD search. Now you got the president, now you got the AD, now you got to go find the head coach. They will. I just feel like right now, the governor also is, like, we all know why the governor was getting involved last week, okay? It's because the freaking election was yesterday. Like, let's not make this hard and complicated. His crazy ass came out and wanted to say stuff about Scott Woodward and all this stuff. By the way, Scott Woodward's already...
There's an election in Louisiana yesterday?
Right, yeah.
There was?
It was primary day yesterday. Not
but like... That was only like Virginia, New Jersey,
New
York,
California? Things going on. They had a couple things.
I think if you know the history of Louisiana governors being intertwined with LSU football, then you know that this is how it works.
Right.
They're always a little cuckoo. It's all of Louisiana culture.
Like,
yes, if you are great at your job, you don't give a shit about what some guy says at a snap, press conference. My point is,
by the way, we can't give you any money for your, you're deprived of food because of the government. But hey, by the way, Scott Woodward, you're a dumbass. Like,
here's a buyout. Here's millions of dollars. No, my point is that, like,
I know
LSU has always been laced with all that weird stuff, and these articles from people you and I have known for a very long time, like guys men and women I respect in the media, who are like, LSU used to be an elite job, now it's not after Governor Landry said what he said. I'm like, no, it's not. It literally has nothing to do with what John Summerall or Lane Kiffin, like the upside. I actually think all the chaos at Auburn, this is my point. The nonsense at Auburn, which is always there, has never stopped Terry Bowden or Tommy Tuberville or Gus Malzahn or Gene Chizik, of all people, from winning big when it's going correct. When it's going right, Auburn can win big.
It's
Now,
not
is it
like
harder?
Mr. Yellowhood just hopped on his horse 10 years ago. His ass has been around for 35 years.
Is it harder today with Texas and Oklahoma? Sure. Is it easier today because the playoffs 12 teams? Yeah, it is. I think Auburn is a great job. I love the city of Auburn personally. It's one of my favorite towns in the SEC. That's a different thing altogether. But if the right coach goes in there and runs a professional college football program, which is what Auburn has never been able to really do, if they can go in there and run a professional college football program, they will win big. Now, is it national championship? I don't know, but they can compete for one.
It's because they need a CEO to come in there and run the program, period.
Bingo.
They don't need an offensive coordinator. They don't need this. They need a CEO to come in and run that entire program, something that they have not had in a very, very long time. That's why I think, if I'm just being straight and honest with you, I think James Franklin would be such a good hire, but I threw one out earlier in the week. And I know it's only Wednesday, but I threw one out on Monday that I thought if there's one coach out there that needs to reset because things are going south where he's at now, it's Dabo Swinney.
Oh, don't hire. See, that's the most Auburn. That's the stupid Auburn thing to do.
I know that.
No, go hire a professional adult. What did Tennessee do after 15 years of dysfunction? They hired a gangster. They hired the right president. They hired the right athletic director, and they hired an adult professional football coach.
You mean Beverly Davenport was?
Go hire a professional adult.
I know.
Okay, let me take a victory lap on motherfucking Hugh Freeze for 1 second.
Okay, here we go.
Because the problem I had with the Hugh Freeze hire, and I've said this so many times on the show, is not that I don't give a shit about what he did at Ole Miss. All that stuff's legal now. Like, honestly, I think prostitution should be legal. I really don't have a problem with victimless crimes. I don't have a problem with paying players. The holier than thou attitude is what it is. I don't like it. It pisses me off.
By the way, Brady is not condoning what happened at the high school, but keep going.
I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm talking about what happened at Ole Miss, which is NCAA violations that are now basically legal. I don't care. That's not the issue. That wasn't the issue. The two issues I had with Hugh Freeze all along was the inherent risk you were putting your campus into because of the weird ass shit he did at Briarcrest High School in Memphis, paddling teenage girls behind closed doors. That is an insane thing to do as an adult male. Number two, pressuring a victim of sexual assault at Liberty through direct messaging is an insane thing to do. Those are two insane things to do. And the only way it is ever worth it to overlook those two insane things is if you are getting a guaranteed national championship caliber coach like Urban Meyer, who does a lot of the same nonsense on his campuses with women that and his track record of not protecting women around his own coaching staff, that those are the things that those guys did that I don't like. And if you are telling me that Hugh Freeze is going to guarantee you a national championship, then be honest about what your priorities are. I'm willing to put the women of my campus at risk to win a national championship, then let's do it. There's one problem. Hugh Freeze hasn't sniffed anything close to a national championship, and I never understood the risk of hiring a guy who has this track record of odd, bizarre behavior to get to 9 wins. He's never been better than that, and I never understood it, and I'll be honest, I don't root against or for coaches, but adios, my guy.
Yeah, and by the way, I'm gonna try to be very gentle here with this one. To the families and daughters of head coaches that want to get on TikTok and act like you're crying because your father just got $15.8 million to walk away and you've been living the life.
Is that what happened?
Kiss my ass.
All he did was play golf every day. He didn't even
play golf with his
day.
wife and went to the facility and played worship music over the speakers during practice and saved me with the fake Joel Osteen bullshit. Okay. Your daddy just got a big payday to go away and you've been traveling on private jets for the last 3 years everywhere. Save me the bullshit on TikTok with your fake tears. Just want to put that out there.
So, everybody say, hey.
I think that Auburn made a mistake.
Not that good of a coach.
No, he's just not. Everybody got attracted to the name. Everybody got attracted to the aura of Hugh Freeze and his dumbass sitting in a hospital room in a bed with his hands in the air when Liberty's playing a football game. And then, by the way, what he did at Ole Miss by winning a couple of games and beating Nick Saban twice. That's it.
But
he didn't do anything else. He got a top 5 recruiting class because they were paying up the ass, and other schools weren't willing to pay $1 million for a defensive lineman at the time.
Who like to jump out of windows?
Right, exactly. Like, let's not get this all twisted, okay? Like, he hasn't done anything. So I could, man.
I'm gonna go get a guy who got kicked out of school because he had an assault weapons cache in his trunk of his car. Like the stories around Hugh Freeze are insane.
I mean, dude, we could go for days on this.
Do you remember being in Dallas? You and I were hanging out in Dallas. I think down in the lobby of a hotel after media days one night, and it was the last night. It was the last night, so everyone's like packing up to check. Like we're all gonna do work on Thursday and then fly out and leave.
Yes.
And the only in 4 nights of being in Dallas at media days, there was one coach of the 6 team who lingered in the bar with a cocktail to talk to media. And you can bet who that coach was. Number 1. And number 2, I have called him Baby Billy for most of since the Gemstones have come out because I just think he's Baby Billy. That's what he is. And if you're telling me which of the 16 head coaches in the SEC at the start of the season was most likely to be caught water skiing naked, it would be Hugh Freeze. and so look, good luck, my guy. Whatever you got to go do, like have fun. But he's not a good coach. He's not worth the risk. He is awful to the women in his community. Peace out, my guy. Have a good time. Have a good time. Don't go hire that. Don't go after the flashy thing that like just makes you feel good for a short period of time. And I don't know if Kenny Dillingham counts as that. I think Hugh Freeze does. Brian Harsin, I'm not even sure what that was. But now you've had Cadillac as an interim. You have DJ Durkin as an interim. This is going to be their 6th coach of a game coming up next season. And you got to hire an adult professional and quiet it all down.
Last thing I'll say on Auburn is you've got to stop the bullshit with these coaches. Harsin got fired, and we all know the stuff that was around that. Cadillac was let go because he wanted to pursue other opportunities. That wasn't the reason why Cadillac was let go from Auburn.
No,
Hugh Freeze, no, it wasn't. Hugh Freeze comes in, and you got to deal with the bullshit around him. Go hire a stable ass coach, man. Like, it ain't hard. Like, you have put yourself through a PR nightmare for 6 years. I could go a little bit longer if I wanted to, but at least Gene Chizik and Gus Malzahn, like, they had respect to their names. They, you know what I mean? Like that.
Gus Malzahn was a professional adult football coach.
Absolutely. And just stop. Go hire. And this is where it gets interesting because I think Kentucky, after beating Auburn this past weekend, I think they're punting on firing Mark Stoops. I think they're going to try to potentially.
Can we do a little informed speculation here?
Oh yeah, because I love it.
Can we do a little informed speculation? Here's my informed speculation around Kentucky and Mark Stoops because I think he's next. But
I think it's going to be negotiated. That's what I'm kind of getting at here.
They have extra money because of the Calipari situation.
Yes.
And they have enough booster dollars that if they wanted to pass the hat and raise the money to pay the $30 whatever million buyout, they could, but they're going to reduce it and they're going to part separate ways at the end of the season is how I think this is going to go down.
Yes.
It's going to be negotiated down to 22, all in a lump sum payment. They're going to pay $20 million. He's going to go off. He's got a chance to land on his feet in Iowa if Kurt Ferentz retires this year. That's his alma mater. Everybody's talked about it for years, including us. And then I think what's really interesting is I think Kentucky and Arkansas have opportunities to be super creative here. I think LSU has to go for a championship. Florida needs to go for a championship. I think Auburn needs to go for a professional adult. And I think Arkansas and Kentucky could be really creative with how they want to strategize around the hire. They could go Pat Fitzgerald, who's just a regular good old ball coach, who's got sort of this been out of the game, maybe a little scandal there, but nothing super major, just some like players, Then you could go to you could hire Matt Campbell. Maybe he's willing to, the shine is off a little bit. Really good coach. Again, professional adult out of Iowa State.
You go outside the box here.
You could go Will Stein, who's knows the area quite well. There's a lot of things. My point is you could hire Willie Fritz and go older, who's established.
John freaking Gruden.
You guys got to stop with that. I've heard that so many times. You guys.
I just had to throw that out there. That's funny.
To me, that's Hugh Freeze. That's Hugh Freeze.
Right. Go hire your former Go hire your former OC T. Martin, the quarterback coach for Lamar Jackson right now.
Yeah, now you're just being a homer. Look, here's the deal with John Gruden. I never understood why anybody likes John Gruden. Is like Hugh Freeze. He's not that good of a coach. Number one, and number two, he's kind of an asshole.
Yes, like I think what I'm saying about Kentucky and Arkansas is it gives them the leniency here to go take a chance. You know what I mean? Like go take a chance on something and see if it works. Because by the way, there are 18 other jobs out there that are trying to do the same thing you're doing. And so
you can be creative. Be creative with it.
That's exactly right. So I think Auburn knows, John Cohen knows what he has to do. And by the way, they're still working on that buyout with Hugh Freeze. Interesting, right?
Yeah. So here's I got asked
lawyers to get involved.
I was on I do a radio hit in Kansas City every week with a friend of mine, and he was asking me, he was kind of joking, like, oh, I'm so glad that there's so many national championship caliber football coaches, all-stars lined up for all these jobs while all these big time programs fire these coaches. And he was being tongue in cheek, basically saying like there's not enough good coaches. And I'm going, my first thought was like, yeah, that makes sense. But then I started thinking, it's like, no, it makes sense because we are always caught up in the stuff that doesn't matter. We always get caught up in the shiny recruiting rankings or and I'm not trying to pick on Dillingham here because I think he could be a really good coach, but like he is very much the shiny new toy. Like he's just a shiny object. And you know who ends up being really good coaches? These boring ass adults who like nobody talks about and ends up being just a really sound, good quality football coach. Like Willie Fritz is not glamorous. Willie Fritz is not a flashy hire. He's not going to get anybody excited. But you know what he does really well? He coaches football really well.
I agree.
And if you could hire Willie Fritz at Kentucky, I think you'd have a really good program for 5 years. And maybe he retires after that. But Curt Cignetti is the boring answer. Curt Cignetti was not anyone's all-star, and he has been the most dominant football coach in the country the last 2 years because he just knows how to win ball. And so go hire your boring adult professional at Arkansas and now I'm not saying that's not a creative strategy. It's just sort of it's not flashy. And I think we get so caught up in the flash of this stuff that we forget, like, no, it's actually about like teaching proper technique on how to twist your defensive back's hips around or how to, rush from speed to power and power to speed. Like it's all the most boring things. Mike Elko was boring.
Just go hire a coach that knows how to delegate some of this stuff to his staff and can get out in the community and raise some money if needs be and be settled. Because you'll find a way to win the games. Hire a good coach. Stop hiring fake head coaches, please, for the love of God.
Where does James Franklin fall into this conversation? Because I think he's a little bit more fake than he is real head coach, but he's pretty good though.
But he's a pretty damn good coach, and that's why I think that Auburn would be a fun fit for him. I think that he's been toying with Virginia Tech here for about 2 weeks now. And I think
Jeff Brom is a really good football coach.
Yeah, but you're going to have to pry Jeff Brom away from Louisville. I mean, buddy,
I think he would take the Penn State job.
Yes, but these other ones, man, he can still contend for playoffs where he's at. You know what I mean? And I give a lot of credit to what Jeff Brom has done. I don't. Florida, Jeff Brom. I just don't see.
I don't think so.
Whatever. Maybe that's just me. So
what is your Eli Drinkwitz, Lane Kiffin temp check at their current jobs? How dedicated, how committed do you think they are to their current jobs?
If Missouri loses this weekend to Texas A&M at home, I think the chatter around Eli Drinkwitz dipping out is going to pick up even further.
I mean, I think Kiffin to LSU drink to Florida makes too much sense, which is probably why it won't happen. But it
makes too much sense. Why it probably wouldn't happen. The crazier thing would be like if Lane leaves and then Drink goes to Ole Miss or some shit. I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying like crazy. I know.
Yeah, that's not
going to. I in all honesty, I think that there will be conversations had over the next 3 to 4 weeks, and I think that once Missouri is eliminated from playoff contention this week by Texas A&M, I think, and I mean that in the nicest way. Like I think Texas, stop trying to think you're
7-point underdog, 7-point underdog at home.
Quarterback against Texas A&M's defense.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at here, Florida, you can start having conversations with Drinkwitz after this weekend.
I think so too. Josh says, "Who's pulling Mike Gundy off the scrap heap?" I would say nobody.
Kentucky.
I think Mike Gundy's. I don't know why anyone.
I think Mike Gundy's about to be on the OAN network for the next 4 years.
Oh, the irony of you saying that. Sorry, I'm taking a shot there. I was on call. I was on call.
I don't give a shit.
This unchecked aggression will not stand, man.
Doesn't matter, man. I don't talk politics.
I think Brent Key is. I love Georgia Tech, everything about Georgia Tech, but I think he's
Stay
a
at
little
Georgia
over.
Tech.
I think he's a little overvalued right now, and I love Georgia Tech. I love Buster Faulkner, but I think Brent Key's a little overvalued. I don't think he goes from interim to Georgia Tech to somewhere else to success. I don't think it happens.
I just think I love what he has right now. Like, don't leave that.
Yeah.
I know his name is being floated, and I understand that, and he deserves it. But stay at Georgia Tech. There's no reason to go take a chance on another job. Sorry.
G.J. Kinney at Texas State is a name I think you really got to look at for Arkansas, for Kentucky. I think Rhett Lashley is still your top candidate there, but we'll see what happens. Although the wins have been, you beat
Jeff Traylor is
Miami,
also a name to keep in mind too.
Yep, at UTSA.
Yep.
Keep an eye on him. I don't think there's anybody else. I'm trying to think of anybody else in the group of 5, sort of like mid-major status that would be interesting for Arkansas or for Ole Miss
Jones.
or for.
I'm sorry, I had to. Whatever, I had to. And it looks like my alma mater is going to finally dip out on Major Applewhite, who has been a massive depressive coach who has screwed up the high school community in Mobile. Really appreciate what you've done, Major.
Wow, that got dark real fast. Has Major Applewhite ever been good at coaching or playing football?
No, and he's pissed off the whole high school community down there that they won't even send players to South anymore. Like, whatever. You screwed us.
That's very odd. And I don't think Jeff Monken. What's interesting about this coaching cycle that I find so interesting is, and I think Luke Fickell's out at Wisconsin if they can figure out how to negotiate that buyout as well. But like Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, Wisconsin, UCLA, Stanford, Arkansas, Kentucky, should it open, are all kind of in the same territory. They're all shopping at the same store for the same kind of coach. And I find that to be really, really interesting. Whereas the other 4 jobs right now, Penn State, Florida, LSU, and Auburn are kind of shopping in like a nicer neighborhood for their options. So I think the fact that they're all like these upper middle class programs looking for coaches at the same time to be really, really interesting.
I do think we're also going to get a shock coach this year, a shock vacancy this year.
You said that.
I think it's coming.
Dan Lanning to LSU? Question mark.
I don't want to throw out a name right now, but I do think that there's going to be a shock situation.
Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll comes back to college. Why are you smiling, you cheeky bastard? What are you doing?
It's good. I just feel like we're setting up for either a coach to dip out on a big time school that he's currently at for another big time school, like we saw in 21.
Marcus Freeman, Dan Lanning, Lincoln Riley. Ryan Day leaving Ohio State would be fascinating, but I don't think that's going to happen. Sark leave for LSU.
That one would be interesting, right?
How cool would it be for Saban to go to Auburn and for Urban Meyer to go to LSU? How good would that be?
With Tommy Tuberville as the governor?
How good would that be? Oh, that'd be fun.
Give it to me. I'll move back to the state of Alabama to cover that crazy shit.
I'm trying to think of other big, like, what is a big name? Like, I don't think Mario Cristobal or Dabo Swinney are big. They're big names, but I don't think those are like good hires.
That's the crazy part that we're in right now in college athletics, man. There's only 4 really jobs
Andy
right
Reid.
now. Okay.
Auburn's hiring Andy Reid. Vince Lombardi to Arkansas? Question mark.
This is a.
The only names that fit your qualification of like big name rock star shock hire from another program are Marcus Freeman, Dan Lanning, and Lincoln Riley. Those are like the only 3. Ryan Day's not going. Sarkisian's not going. I don't think. Would Josh Heupel go to LSU?
Dude, the boat is getting a little rocky in Knoxville.
Up on Rocky Top. Okay, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
that's a silly thing to do. Oklahoma's a better football team this year. They have better players. Like, I don't know.
Yes, absolutely they did. And look, he's got things he has to fix, and he's got to stop, hiring his group chat, right. to be the assistant coaches on the staff, and Rodney Garner needs to go retire and enjoy retirement and just
winning in the SEC is hard. Winning in the SEC.
Yeah, it's hard, but then Tennessee fans forget like you're a field goal kicker with the yips away from beating Georgia. You had a field goal kicker for Oklahoma out there Happy Gilmoreing it all.
No shame in the season that they're having right now.
He was wearing a Speedo while he's doing it. Like, you beat
Florida on the road. That changes a narrative. And even if you lose to Vanderbilt, which would be unacceptable in Knoxville, it is an absurd thing to talk about Josh Heupel being on a hot seat. That's absurd. It's absurd.
Lose to Vanderbilt at home to end the season going into Thanksgiving weekend. Let's see how that plays out.
I had him at 8-4. I had him as 10th in the conference this year. That's what they are. I'm not surprised by this.
Yes, and Vanderbilt can beat Tennessee. And if there's a playoff spot on the line,
give me the doors.
I will go to Austin, Texas for that Friday. I mean, whatever.
You're going to be at A&M? Yeah.
I'm probably going to do that one and then fly back and do Vanderbilt, Tennessee if Vanderbilt has a playoff spot on the line.
Flying into Knoxville is such a pain in the ass.
No, it's not. I mean, we have direct flights to Colorado. I mean, to Denver.
But it's Alcoa. It's like 30 minutes away. I hate it.
It's 25 minutes with me. I'm good.
Yeah, I hear you. All right. ML Rose, everybody. Check him out. Outkick. Georgia needs to survive at Mississippi State. Vander needs to survive against Auburn. LSU Bama is just not even an interesting story anymore, but Bama needs to survive. Florida Kentucky should be a fascinating, chaotic game of God knows what. And then really it's A&M 2:30 at Missouri, 7-point spread. I'll be at ML Rose because I still can't watch any of my ABC ESPN games at home. So I'll be at ML Rose in East Nashville if you guys want to come on out and hang out. I'll buy you a beer. 2-for-1s. You got great ranch dipping sauce. You got spicy cheese curds. You got great everything at ML Rose. Fantastic. They got a dog thing in the back. The kids got a place to play. Like, it's a fantastic
spicy
place.
Curds, and
spicy
you didn't even bring up Alabama and LSU. What kind of world are we living in?
I did. I mentioned it. It's not even like it's not even an interesting story.
Like, it's crazy. Like, I had to cancel my hotel in Tuscaloosa area because I'm not going to cover that game anymore. I just don't care.
It's the only game with a double-digit spread this week because I'm not counting Ole Miss and Citadel. All right,
Lubbock, Texas, here I come.
Now talk about a hard trip to get to. Although it's a bigger city.
Lord, man, it is. Yes,
it's a bigger city than people realize, though.
2 flights and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a fun trek.
Enjoy the trip. Enjoy the coaching carousel. I'm assuming there'll be a new coach at a new school or a new firing next week as well.
Oh, it happens on Sunday. Somebody's getting fired on Sunday.
Thanks for hanging out. At Trey Wallace _ on Twitter, outkick.com for all of his work. You can catch him on the podcast as well. You can catch all the other great shows across the 440 Sports Network on the YouTube page, the Twitter account, and the social feed, as well as all the podcast apps. We do appreciate ML Rose for making this product available for all of you. For Trey, I am Braden. Have a great weekend, everybody. We will talk to you next time.